Manish on the beat, shebang. All of my ops, they dead. Why do they gas me up? Where does it go? My head. How much I got? A lot. Don't leave again, I won't. Thinking and trying me do like Bryson. Pussy ass nigga and don't. Can I forgive? I can't. What do I need? Some head. Shorty keep asking a date. She trying to finesse Poly Market for bread. Where's the beef? It's cooked. Where's the boy? He's booked. Don't even recognize none of these names at the top.
Stay forecasted throughout the week. Let's crack a drink before we get going. Like the stream. Subscribe if you have not yet. And stay forecasted in Discord as we're doing surprise giveaways. World Cup's going on. Shout out to Big OT Lover. He won last night in Discord, $36. Send him a little extra. Also going to send the runner-up some money too. So then this is why they stay in Discord. We do fun contests, free bets for the Soccer World Cup 2. Free bets in Discord. Prelim Tim is in there putting in a ton of work. So you got to appreciate that. Check out Prelim Tim's picks, UFC content, and you missed the Knicks licks. He cooked up during not the NFL. He will be during football season. He was cooking up during the NBA playoffs. MLB too. He posts all his home run bets. He has a channel. We have a channel together with the baseball, stuff like that. You got to stay forecasted in Discord. And a big shout out to the winner last night, OT Lover. Cheers to that, buddy. Let's get the Fiend Claw, mix up this drink, and we'll get right into the picks in Baku. Now, the first fight of the night, we got two debuters. I did some research, looked into them. I like Jefferson. I like his forward pressure and aggressiveness for sure in this fight. He's explosive and has a lot of power. On the other side, he's kind of fighting tomato cans, although his record looks pretty good, 21-3. It's a hometown fight for him, but I do have faith in the Brazilian here, Jefferson Nascimento. The way he stalks his opponent with the forward pressure and landing with power, I think he will capitalize, have a little upset here. Now, the odds I have 50-50 because this could be priced 50-50 given the experience in the hometown favoritism for Tahir. Unfortunately, I just don't think he's fought very good competition at a good promotion. You look at Jefferson, he's been at the LFA working hard, putting in good performances, and I think he will upset the home crowd here. Now, the odds are not correct. I'm suggesting a 50-50 fight, but I'm picking Jefferson. Suppose that he will be the favorite. I'm picking him with confidence this week. I think he should be favored in this fight, but we will see. He could be the dog. Bekzat Almakhan next versus Gene Matsumoto. Very competitive fight here at bantamweight, both off a loss. And these losses are very close for these fighters. They have competitive fights with their opponents. Gene Matsumoto was in 3 split decisions in his last 3 fights. Very tough to get a performance out of him that's high level. You know, we've seen him at a high level, fight at a high level, but he's not really showcasing his skills, really. He is a very good striker, Muay Thai stance. I don't think he's going to be able to knock out Bekzat Almakhan, and it's going to be tough for him to stay on the feet, although I think he can. He has a sneaky submission game. Gene Matsumoto, it might be tough for him to lead the dance and land more accurately and mix it up. I think Bekzat Almakhan could mix it up. He's fought at a high level. His debut was with Umar Nurmagomedov there. So I think he is going to be just a step ahead, might be able to mix in the wrestling. I'm not going to say he does that. I think he can just be a little bit more cleaner on the feet and work for your money. Where Gene Matsumoto in these split decisions, you're screaming at him to work for your money. You know, Bekzat Almakhan's always pushing forward with high volume and accuracy, where Gene Matsumoto seems a little bit more inaccurate with his shots at times. Now, when I look at Tapology, both guys just fighting at a high level. This is a Very close fight once again. And I could see another split decision the way Gene Matsumoto is fighting. Split decisions across the board for him recently. And I would not be surprised if we see another. But give me Bekzat Almakhan here. I believe in him at an underdog price tag too, which is kind of surprising to me. I know he lost unanimously in his last fight to Ilya Toporia's brother, but he has the experience with Umar Nurmagomedov in his debut where he looked very good in that fight. So I think he can show up here and upset as a betting underdog in this one. Now with the first one, the fight might not even take place. So it might be back-to-back underdog picks as we don't even know the odds on the first fight. Could be two underdogs to start the night. That's the call from Fight Fiend. Maybe the first fight is a wide favorite as Jefferson Nascimento is the pick. Let's roll with the third fight of the night. Big favorite, Daniil Donchenko. He fought on the Ultimate Fighter, and he has that experience. And the guy from Sweden here, Theodor Berggren, not the greatest. He's not fighting at the highest level. He's actually suffered defeat recently. 3 losses, 8 wins. Just not the most impressive record against the most impressive competition. Looking at the odds, this is pretty cut and dry. I know Daniil Donchenko struggled a bit in his last fight, took Alex Morono to a decision in this one. He should bounce back, find that finish, as he's very vicious on the feet. He's another guy that's going to be stalking his opponent, walking forward, and landing with power. On the ground, too, he could be sneaky, too. He's more of a guy on the feet that really goes for it and gets aggressive on the ground. Let me check Daniil Donchenko here, as maybe he could surprise people. A lot of people will be picking him in this fight by knockout on Tapology. Seems to be the favored play for him. And at 5-1, it's really hard to pick against him. But let's not forget Andrey Lima last week did upset at a price tag like this. So we can't get overly confident in some of these big favorites. But once again, I might have to lock in and pay the price on this guy. 24 years old is Daniil Donchenko. He's going to continue to improve. And he only has 2 submission wins. So going back to the submission game, he does have 2 of them. It's not like he can't do it. But what we've seen recently is a knockout on the Ultimate Fighter, and then he won the Ultimate Fighter with another knockout round 1. So early is where he's the most explosive for sure. But even looking at the regional scene, he can get the knockout in round 2, the ground and pound. He has a couple rear naked chokes, and he has 3 wins by ground and pound. So he seems very aggressive on the ground, and especially from what we have seen so far, he's going to dominate this newcomer, who rightfully should be on Dana White's Contender Series coming up soon. Check out those full card prediction videos coming out in the future. Might be a month or 2 out, couple months out, but the Dana White Contender Series maybe deserved a guy like Theodor here. Looking at him, his last couple fights, he won his last 2. He suffered 2 defeats before that. He's a Cage Warriors guy. Level of competition, 3-1, 6-5, 1-0, 2-4. Those are his wins. His 2 losses were 12-8 and 8-2. Justin Berlinson, the 8-2 opponent at Cage Warriors, submitted him by arm triangle in round 3. The other opponents beat him by a decision. Seems like a tough guy to finish. So we could see another decision for the big favorite. But I think he's live for this finish, especially after coming off a decision win. 24 years old. He's going to be making improvements. He was on the Ultimate Fighter. He won the Ultimate Fighter. I think we're going to see this guy make big improvements and be dominant in the UFC, especially against the lower end guys. Someone making their debut, that's tough, bro. Against Daniil Donchenko, that's not the debut you want. What a tough fight in your debut. Everyone knows the play. It's Daniil Donchenko, and I'm going to call it. Let's go round 2, finish. We don't have to get too crazy with the play. Round 2 might be a good prop here. He gets the feeling out process. Round 1, round 2 finds the finish. Next fight, I like this underdog. He was another guy that was on Ultimate Fighter, and he has that experience in his back pocket. Javier Reyes is well experienced, but the level of competition is a little bit of a question mark. Some of his wins are by finish early, and you look at his debut, not much of a showing there. Quick finish with D. Silva de Andrade. So, yeah, he's explosive. He can find the finish. And Kaan Ofli got caught to Myron Santos. He got knocked out Ultimate Fighter finale there. So he has been knocked out before. He has been caught. His striking might not be up to par with the Colombian, Javier Reyes. Unfortunately, I like the underdog. I'm going to have to pick him to win here on the ground. And later in the fight is where I think he will shine here. Kaan is a very aggressive fighter too, but he has to be very non-aggressive early in this fight as Javier is so aggressive. Being patient will pay dividends for Kaan in this fight. Be very patient. Take it late to deep waters. Start mixing in the wrestling and test the gas tank of Javier. That's probably the best game plan for this underdog pick that I'm taking. And that's what I'm hoping his game plan will be. You never know what these fighters are going to game plan to do. But obviously, you're going to have to mix in the wrestling off what we have seen from Javier Reyes. Very explosive on the feet and powerful. You don't want to get caught early here. Definitely a guy you could test late. Someone that I'm not going to be too high on in the UFC if he does win this fight. So let's just say that. If he gets to win as a favorite, Reyes, I'm not so sold he will continue to win in the UFC. He will see defeat at some point, and this fight could be it. It's only his second fight in the UFC. Looking at his level of competition prior to the Dana White's Contender Series, now he is 23-5, but you got to be taking bigger steps up in competition than 11-6, 9-4, and that's just a little bit of a concern for me. LFA scene, he took a loss by unanimous decision to Chris Metcalf, or Makate, however the hell you say his name, not even UFC caliber. And Larian Douglas found the knockout round 2 versus Javier Reyes, and that was only in August of 2024. He's been caught before. Definitely before that knockout loss, low-level competition we're seeing again, 9-5, 2-1, 6-4, 13-9. Some good levels of opponents in there, like 7-3, 7-2, but those guys kind of have padded records. These guys aren't overly good at Combat Global. He has a 23-5 record still. When he takes steps up, he seems to lose, and he got finished to Larian Douglas. I call him Larian Douglas. I'm calling him probably the wrong name there. But Douglas, he just made his debut in the UFC, and he looked pretty good there. Let's go look at how he actually performed, as I kind of forget. Douglas made his debut in the UFC and knocked out Julian Erosa round 1. And then on the Contender Series, knocked out Cam Teague round 1. So definitely a tough opponent and someone that's going to make a splash in the UFC. Douglas, he defeated Javier Reyes. So I think Reyes is definitely a little overrated. Had to look into that a little bit more. And, you know, yeah, this is a closer fight than some people might think. I think Kaan is a little underrated. Javier's overrated, but certainly a fight I'm not going to be too confident in. I'm taking the underdog pick. There's value there. Looking at the reach advantage, not too great. Javier Reyes has a great reach advantage in this fight. He can certainly work at distance. It's just a gas tank level of competition I'm going to question here. And Kaan is definitely hungry for a contract, looking to secure it, extend it. So I think we will see more dog on the plus money side here. Not going to talk about this one too long. I don't want it in any parlays. Not looking at the overs or unders in this one on parlays. Looking at a pass on this one. Like and subscribe. We got another confident pick coming up next. Grab your drink. Pour one if it's empty. And let's have some fun on this prediction show. Later today, we're going live for the quick picks. We got Nursulton, Ruziboev next with Andrey Pulyaev. 10-4. Definitely a guy that's getting my respect. He's not losing and getting dominated. He suffered defeat to Tabagache by a decision in a fight that I thought he would get knocked out in. He's been knocked down a few times for sure in these fights, but he hasn't been knocked out. Looking at his takedowns, very inaccurate. One of these fights, he went 0 for 4, so I can't really trust in the underdog's takedown threats, considering he can't get them. And it's just basically him being tough in there. Now, obviously, he can try to gas out Ruziboev in this fight, but I don't really think that's a possibility. Nursulton has fought at a high level. Looking at Nursulton by a decision, a negative record, something to think about the later the fight goes. We're definitely in trouble here. No doubt about that. Nursulton is 2-7 by a decision. So if you're looking at a hedge, Pulyaev by a decision would be the exact play. I don't think Nursulton gets finished late, but he might give up rounds later, round 2 or 3. I just see him completely dominating this fight, being very live for that submission, as he has a lot of finish wins. Nursulton, he only has 2 decision wins out of those 36 wins. So that just goes to say he is a finisher, and a lot in round 1. I think he can get it in round 2, even round 3, and not even surprised if he could win a decision quite dominantly. I think Ruziboev is going to have better position in this fight, more control, and just be the stronger frame. He has more experience in general. He has a better record. He's fought the better guys. I'm not going to overcomplicate this one too much. I think it's a very good fight for Nursulton Ruziboev here to go out, get a nice win. He beat Dustin Stolfus in his last fight by a decision. So that just goes to show he is working on the cardio. He can win decisions. And then round 2, he caught. Kokonoko knocked him out. Dumas, that was a weird one where Dumas wasn't really knocked out, not a big knockout win, but we've seen another big knockout versus Bruno Fieta, who's on this card. Nursulton knocked him out round 1, so he was tested versus guys that really can throw heavy, and Pulyaev isn't a guy that I believe can really throw heavy and land. So unlike Bruno Fieta, a much more dangerous opponent that Ruziboev handled no problem, I think Pulyaev is in major trouble here, and he could be a bigger underdog. Picking against Pulyaev with confidence here. Potential lock of the week situation is what I'm talking about here. Uzbek is back. All right, Fight Fiends. This is the play. Nursulton Ruziboev. See some people going against it on socials, but you love when you have people disagreeing and stuff like that. Puts money on one side. I don't got to be scared that all the money's on Nursulton Ruziboev and that everyone's picking him to win. So definitely a pick that I will say is high confidence for me this week. And I don't think it's an overexposed pick, unlike, Daniil Donchenko or Rakhman Yakhyaev. Now, these 2 fighters that are overexposed and are big favorites, I will pick them to win. And with confidence, I'm not going to really think twice about it. And I will probably lock them in to win. Now, the advantage for them is pretty clean. In this fight, Rakhman Yakhyaev just can dominate with the wrestling if he wants to. And hopefully he can just shoot the takedown, get after it. Julius Walker, like I've said before in predictions, he's kind of a juice box. I don't believe in his level of competition, but he is a decent fighter, and we've seen him lose a decision, put up a good fight. Unfortunately, he got knocked out in his last fight and couldn't put up much of a fight. In this one, though, you never know what could happen. His fight that went the distance was Alonzo Menifield split decision, and that was his debut. So you look back at his debut for Julius Walker, like, you can't just be calling him a juice box, but Fight Fiend is. And I'm having fun with it because, honestly, his wins aren't overly impressive. 7-5, 20-11 prior to the UFC, and then he beats Rafael Sequeira, which I don't have high expectations for him. That win was a decision. So Julius Walker, really not the most explosive guy or someone that's a threat for the finish, where Rakhman Yakhyaev is a huge threat for the finish. Knocked out some opponents, but his last 2 were rear naked chokes, sticking to the game plan. Brenton Ribeiro, Rafael Sequeira, round 1 submission wins. And that's a common opponent. You look at the MMA math, like, you can't always look at the MMA math. But in this one, especially, recent opponents, Rafael Sequeira, both of their second last fight went completely different. Yakhyaev choked him out round 1, and Julius kind of struggled and went the distance. It was almost any man's fight. So off that, both their second last fight prior to their last, we're going Yakhyaev, not looking back. He is minus 500. And if he loses, there is something suspicious going on, because in no world will Yakhyaev lose. 10 out of 10 times he wins. He could be one of the biggest betting favorites this year. I'm pretty confident that he's going to smoke him. Roll him up like a blunt. Smoke him. Maybe hit him a few times. Yakhyaev's the play. And way more confidence in him than Daniil Donchenko. So if you're worried about maybe one of these big favorites dropping the bag, I just don't think it's this one. Like and subscribe if you're having fun, staying forecasted, having a few drinks and smokes with Fiends. Forecasters on Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Prop Fiends will be live giving out some props. I think there's a lot of props to give out in Baku, a lot of bags to collect. So let's keep it going. We got another newcomer that's a hometown guy. He's favored. And I don't know if he should be. Respect to Eric McConaughey. Respect to him. Didn't think he would hold up to round 3, and obviously he's going to be a guy underrated. We talked about guys being underrated here a bit already. Let's talk about it again. I think Eric McConaughey is underrated. He obviously has a little respect. Plus 150 is not a wide price tag. I just think it should be like a 50-50 fight here. Round 3 loss with Bekzat Yakhyaev. Definitely put up a fight, showed moments and a lot of hurt in that fight, and hurt can win fights. 5-0 undefeated. Hasn't really fought the toughest guys yet. Nolan already took a big step up and a test there. Almost thrown to the wolves. He's 8-4. Record doesn't really prove that he's great, but he does have a hurt, and he can win a fight, and he can improve off losses where an undefeated fighter has never suffered defeat before, and we've seen these undefeated fighters lose many times already this year. Now you look at his wins, the undefeated guy, 5-0 from Azerbaijan. He's at the LFA scene. He knocked out a fighter 6-0 in his last fight. Very nice win. Before that, you got to look at the level of competition. 3-1, 3-0, debuter, 1-0, and he was head kicked, knocked out his last fight on the amateur scene. He only had 2 amateur fights. His last fight, he got head kicked and said, you know what, let me go pro. And that's just not a good look for me. 2 fights amateur, you get head kicked, knocked out pretty bad, and then you go pro, you fight a couple bums, 5-0, UFC's back in Baku, they bring you on. All right, we've seen this before. And we've seen it in Canada. We've seen it somewhere else. Hometown guy kind of gets set up, gets a chance, looks like trash. This could be that situation here. I think Eric Nolan is not going to really get steamrolled here. Hasanov will have to land early, often, to win. And I think Eric McConaughey can put up a fight on the other side, probably find a finish. McConaughey with that last fight probably won't get counted out. Bookies aren't going to write him off completely here. He has been submitted. Doesn't seem like a game plan for Farman over there, the favorite. Nolan at CFC was the champion too. Had knockouts in his own right. Round 1s, round 2s, level of competition, 9-2. Blaine Richards, 4-4. Not the best guy, but, you know, he had a 7-2 knockout win round 1 in there, 7-5. Lost a split decision with Alonzo Turner. CFC is basically where he's been at, Eric McConaughey, and he became a champ there. His last 3 wins at CFC were knockouts, very good performances, really flatlined Blaine Richards in that one. Beautiful performance. And the Tavares fight, the 7-2 opponent, floored him round 1. So 2 big round 1 wins. Eric Nolan was handed to Bekzat Yakhyaev in this fight. I don't really think he's handed to the Wolves. I don't think this is a tough fight for him. And I'm pretty confident he's going to win this fight as an underdog. Looking at it here, like, just because he's 8-4 doesn't mean he's not good. Like, I know he's not great. He's not really good, but his heart, his determination to probably sink in a contract. He gets another fight too. You know, it wasn't just a one and done. UFC seen something in this guy. Former CFC champ. We just talked about his 3 fights there. Beautiful knockouts that he had there. Like, he is live to definitely get a finish in this fight by knockout early. I think McConaughey will surprise some people that aren't quite seeing him as a possibility this week. Hopefully people aren't sleeping on him, because I think he sleeps the hometown favorite here in this fight. Last one on the prelims. Prop Fiends live Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we're cooking up some props, giving out some scenarios here already on the full card prediction show with confidence. Already picking some of my spots. I think we got some bags to collect in Baku. And last event, AJ went 3-0. I went 3-4. Curry Ninja 2-3. Prelim Tim hit one on the prelims, as he always does. So goddamn, prop fiends are growing each and every week. Thanks everyone for staying forecasted, dropping comments after the show, being in the live chat goes a long way. So join Discord too. A bunch of free content in there from myself and Prelim Tim. Don't forget, like and subscribe for the Fiends. F3 is here, and we're getting into the main card where the money is ready to be made. Abus Magomedov took a loss in his last fight. He's 28-7, coming in as a slight favorite here to Mikhail Olazechuk, who made the move to Fighting Nerds, and definitely a good move for him, which makes me think he can keep this fight standing, make the right decisions, hopefully, to not engage with the submissions late of Abus, as he has shown us the submission ability. Although he got choked in his last fight, he ended up choking out a recent opponent, and it kind of shocked me that Abus was able to do that. So Abus on the feed too was known as a big knockout guy, 28 wins, 14 knockouts, showed us the submission game versus Bruno Fieta, who's also on this card. So common guy on this event. Bruno Fieta also finished round 3 with arm triangle to Abus Magomedov, and that's the situation we never really seen coming. I thought Bruno was the better submission artist. He ends up getting choked out. So anything can happen in these fights. Obviously, Abus is very good, 28-7, but Mikhail Olazechuk has been making rapid improvements at the Fighting Nerds. His takedown defense looks very good on the feet, explosive. A lot of round 1 KOs, 22 wins. He has 16 knockouts, 13 in round 1. Super explosive. Only has the 1 submission win. So if you're talking about the Polish power, he has it. He's going for the KOs. Mikhail Olazechuk. Last fight was a decision. Marc-Andre Barriault, my Canadian, respect to him being tough, not getting knocked out in that one. But everyone else seems to get knocked out. Shara Magomedov beat Mikhail Olazechuk by a decision, who's also on this event. So you can see him get outpointed on the feet at times. That's something Abus could do, win a decision, just being the better striker, more seasoned. He was in there with Strickland too early in his UFC career, Abus. So, man, like if you want to jump on the bus on Abus at this price, I don't blame you. But I do believe Mikhail Olazechuk will make more improvements. He had some bad losses looking at it, submitted quite a few times. Kyle Bahayo, Michelle Pereira, who's on this event, got choked out in round 1 to him, lost a decision to Dustin Jacoby, submitted round 1 to Oven St. Preux, Jimmy Crute. Like, sometimes you forget, man. Mikhail Olazechuk has been submitted a lot. He has been submitted a lot, so you got to respect the game of Abus on the ground. Although he's a big knockout artist, just like Mikhail Olazechuk, he has that submission game unlike Mikhail. So Olazechuk's almost trying to be safe most of this fight, which is tough to pick him and bet him in this fight, which is why I'm going to hold back on bets and parlaying him. Not too confident in the pick. He's going to have to play it safe. He's going to not engage in the takedowns and wrestling. He's going to have to be very good with the takedown defense, keep the gas tank high, and then on the feet, win the battles. That's where this fight will be won, on the feet, unless Olazechuk gets taken down, right? So Olazechuk's the guy definitely being more defensive in this fight. I see a lot more ways for Abus to win, but I have to pick Mikhail Olazechuk in this fight. I think he's more explosive early. I think he has more knockout power. I think he's going to make more improvements, and very fun fight. He's 4 years younger, from Warsaw, Poland. Benson's Birkin. I'm sure someone heard that. I think a package got delivered. So, yeah, let's go to the next fight. Bruno Fieta. What do you fucking know? This guy. We talked about you a few times already. Bruno Fieta. He's an underdog, and I don't want to get set up in like an underdog trap here. The Hulk hands are there. I probably won't make him the dog of the week because I've already made him the dog of the week a couple times. The last one, he did get knocked out to RoboCop. Tough fight. I might even make him the dog of the week again because, to be honest, although we talked about his 2 losses already, and then this RoboCop loss that he just had, he is very powerful. He is good on the ground at times. And Ikram Aliskerov has fought some low-level competition. He got knocked out to Robert Whittaker, cold-cocked in that fight. And he's really just going to have to use his wrestling. He has a couple submission wins, but he didn't use it in his last fight to Jun Park, which is just not a good look for Ikram Aliskerov. Like, what are you doing in that fight? Bruno Fieda is going to find the finish in a fight like that, I do believe. And then Andre Muniz was cold-cocked to Ikram Aliskerov. So I don't really know how to rate Ikram Aliskerov, and I don't trust in him at this price. So it's almost just like a fade on the price. And Ikram Aliskerov, prior to the Whittaker fight, I was on board. He had the nice right cross to Phil Haas, the Kimura win on the Contender Series. But looking at the Eagle FC fight, just low-level competition on the regional scene. We're talking very low-level wins on the regional scene. He lost to Hamzat round 1 with an uppercut, middle of round 1. So, like, on the feet, like, he got caught twice and just not overly active throughout his career. He had a number of canceled fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 canceled fights. He's had a lot of canceled fights recently. Not very active, not showing me the improvements that I need to see at this price tag. And then he was knocked out twice to Hamzat and Whittaker, yes. But Bruno Fieda has that power. He's ferocious early. And I think he's going to go for it. You know, his last fight was an armbar. No, it wasn't. His last finish was an armbar to Jackson McVeigh. And then he had the armbar to Petrosian. So a knockout's not something that we've seen from Bruno Fieda recently. He got knocked out, won a decision to Vettori, won 2 fights by armbar. So his last finish win was those armbars. I actually like the knockout for Bruno Fieda in this fight. Like, we have not seen the knockout in a while. Knowing that Ikram can get knocked out, I feel like that's the path to victory, no doubt, for Bruno Fieda. You have to get this knockout. And on the ground, I think he can keep it standing. I don't think the takedowns for Ikram Aliskerov are too dangerous, too explosive. Like, I just haven't seen those improvements yet. Jun Park to get him down to the ground and beat him by a decision, like, congrats on that. This is a different animal, Bruno Fieda, the Hulk. And at this price, I just have to bet it almost. You know what I mean? Picked him before. He's been good to me, too, in some spots as an underdog. And he's also suffered defeat. So he's been good and bad. Stylistically, it's just always a fun fight with Bruno Fieda. And he will always fight for your money. So at this price, betting man, gambling guy, looking to make some money. Bruno Fieda, knockout early. Definitely a play I'm looking at taking at some point. Maybe not an official prop of the week on Friday, but certainly a bet I will take for some paid members, platinum forecasters. We'll see that one. And then him to win at plus 220. It's a pretty good price. Could add it in a parlay or something like that. Definitely like Bruno Fieda as an underdog. The more I look into it and talk about it, I know the reach advantage isn't there, but he's a low center of gravity. He really packs a punch and can really get down low and land those overhands. Where Ikram Aliskerov just, I don't know if he can handle that kind of animal. Maybe he can. Definitely a fight where Ikram Aliskerov has to show me what he can do. And unlike Navajo Sterling, I'm not betting Ikram Aliskerov to show me just that, because I have my questions with him now, and Bruno's always fighting for your money. And looking at Bruno, pretty good record too. Only suffered 3 losses. Finished in all those losses. So if it goes the distance, if it gets late, we don't really know what's going to happen. He's only had 1 decision win, never lost by a decision. Bruno Fieda, a lot of these fights ending inside the distance. Is it going to continue with Ikram Aliskerov? That's 4-0 to a decision. You could see Bruno just coming up short by a decision and getting outmatched. So this is a very fun fight for sure. One that I have circled. One of the funnest fights in Baku. And I'm glad we get to start it off. Oh, I guess it's not the first fight. We just talked about the main card. Bout order could change as it is early in the week. Last week, I think the bout order changed. So maybe this is the first fight on the main card, because it would be fun to start it off with this fight rather than Mikhail and Abus. I'd rather see this one in the middle of the main card to start off the event with the main card event with Bruno Fieda and Ikram Aliskerov. That would be very exciting and it would make some other fights more intriguing, maybe build up some of these names more if we got this fun fight first. A lot of people knowing of Ikram Aliskerov since he fought Whitaker and Hamzat and Bruno Fieta, just always a fun guy to watch. Everyone knows who he is at this point. Just a great UFC career, unlike Ikram, who's kind of boring and inactive in there. So I'm going to take the fade on Ikram. Got to do it. The Hulk's been a friend of mine. A fiend of mine is the Hulk. Not a fiend of mine is Charles Johnson. That haircut is disgusting, and he's just a tough fighter to predict. Looking at the track record, just a 50-50 guy in the UFC. His UFC run has been shocking. Like, he's beating guys that he shouldn't beat, like Joshua Vent. And then he loses to guys that maybe he shouldn't lose to, like Alex Perez. So just a weird career for Charles Johnson, and a weird haircut to say that. You almost just got to agree with the price. And Asu is going to bring it in this fight. His last one, we just talked about Perez, how Perez beat Charles Johnson. He's not able to beat guys that he should. Asu didn't struggle. Asu did not struggle with Perez. He got the guillotine round 3. So a very impressive performance. And Asu in the UFC, just on a run, 6-1. He's not really a 50-50 guy. His only loss was to Manel Kopp, who we just seen put on a highlight reel performance over Horiguchi. Unfortunately, we had to see that. But yeah, credit to Manel Kopp. Like, round 3 win over Asu as well. Asu beat Jose Ochoa, Mateus Nicolau, Jose Johnson, CJ Vergara, all guys that are beatable, all by a decision. But Prelim Tim's talked about this before. He likes to see guys win decisions sometimes more than just finished guys. It shows that they can go the distance, they can wrestle, they have a great cardio, and the judges are picking them over their opponents majority of the time. Clearly, a lot of these fights, unanimous wins for Asu, and he's 10-1 by a decision. That's an incredible record when it goes to the scorecards, where Charles Johnson, looking at him, he's 8-7 by a decision. There's no way you can pick him at plus 200 here. I think Asu's to play by the distance day and night, every day of the week. And seeing Johnson get cold cock put on skates, just not a good look with Alex Perez. Asu, not really a guy that's going to throw with heat and power, only has 3 knockouts. The submissions is a worry for Johnson, in my opinion. The 10 submission wins for Asu. He has 10 decisions to back it up. He's very dangerous on the ground, Asu. We've seen the guillotine in his last fight. I think he's live to find this submission win over Charles Johnson. If anything, he's not going to get the knockout, right? He's going to submit him or beat him by a decision. And Charles has never been submitted. So credit to Charles. Maybe this is the first time it happens, but I'll give him benefit of the doubt. Asu wins this one dominantly by a decision. And man, he could be a lock of the week. I don't think I put him in my lock of the week parlay, but taking the fade on Charles Johnson is sometimes tough. 8-6 in the UFC. Couldn't beat Alex Perez, and then he beats fucking Joshua Vance. So do you really want to bet heavy against Charles Johnson? I do. I don't really like him. I think it's a very, very winnable fight for Asu, and it's kind of like one of these fights. If Asu doesn't win, something's going on. Something's smelly. It's probably rigged. So I think Asu is a lock. Maybe I throw him in the lock parlay. I got like 6 locks in Baku. We've seen Andrey Lima drop the bag as a big favorite, but, that's not going to happen every week. You can't just bet in fear all the time. Fight Fiend does not bet in fear all the time. I'll take chances. 6 locks, 6 favorites on this event that I'm confident in. I'm definitely putting them together, and Asu should be added to that. Let me double check. Was he on there? No. Yakhyaev, Donchenko, Ruziboev, Sedyakov, share a bullet. Asu could be another one on there. Because Sedyakov is a hometown guy. And the most confident hometown guy for me in this Baku atmosphere. He's the guy that's fighting probably at the best gym and repping Azerbaijan. UFC's back in Azerbaijan. He's definitely the most trustable guy. Like, he's favored to win -250 for a reason. He's fought the higher level competition. He's fighting at the better gym with the higher level guys. He's with Merab and Aljo all the time. Can't overcomplicate a pick like this. Price tag is very good for Nazim Sadikov. He has the finishing upside. He has the submission upside. All 3 losses for Camilo, submission losses. Gabe Green of all guys was able to submit Camilo, and Gabe Green got cold-cocked, smoked with Brian Battle. Battle's not in the UFC anymore, but Brian Battle is very good and probably would destroy Nazim Sadikov. Brian Battle should be back in the UFC. He had to move up a weight class, and Gabe Green was a big frame at 155, so I'll give Camilo that. Camilo was in a tough fight there early in his career. Sadikov, a smaller frame for sure, but he has the experience. He's slick on the ground, training with these guys. I think he's just going to be at the higher level. Now, the frames kind of match up in this fight. Both 5'10", 69-inch reach. So I think it's a very competitive one at times. They size up very good at face-offs. I want to see them at face-offs, though, because I'm kind of thinking Camilo might be a bit bigger, but I think he will gas out and drain quicker in this fight, and then Nazim will be live for that finish later round 2 or 3. So I do like to finish late rounds for Nazim in this fight, looking at the gas tank of Camilo. And then, yeah, Nazim is at a high level at Syndicate. Cerro Longo. Can't pick against him, bro. He's a lock. From Azerbaijan, UFC's back in Azerbaijan. He is a lock for me, and we got about 6 of them on this event. Let's keep it running on this one. We're back in a couple hours for the Quick Picks show. So we got to get this video posted here. 40 minutes in. I like Share a Bullet. I exposed him as a lock already. I got 6 of them, I guess. I'll have to edit the lock bet I posted. Cash out, rebet it. I already put 3 units for 12 units on 5 locks. I'm going to make it 6. Fucking hell with it. Right? Risk it for the biscuit, boys. Andre Lima probably shouldn't have lost last week, and I'm not going to bet in fear. Fight Fiend won't do that. Michelle Pieta. My God, he will be in fear this whole fight. Just the look of Share a Bullet is scary. The way he set up that double spinning back elbow, beautiful stuff over Petrosian. But yeah, a lot of his fights go in the distance. He's a point fighter here, and I do like him to win a decision. Credit to Michelle Pieta. He's tough. He's fought at a high level. And yeah, he won his last fight versus Zach Reese, showing that Pieta still got it. Training at Extreme Couture, still at a high level, and has a lot of heart. So a guy like this, I'm not going to really bet against him with confidence to get knocked out. I'm not going to pick him apart too much, but I think he will get picked apart on the feet and just be a step ahead. Share a Bullet's going to impress everybody with some spinning attacks, land some of these bigger shots, maybe take out the footing from Michelle Pieta. Pieta's very awkward in there, and he could get caught with a knockout just with his hands low, maybe making a mistake with a spinning attack of his own that's just not very technical, where the spinning attacks and elbows coming through and just all the crazy attacks from Share a Bullet are very technical, very tight defense. The defense on the side of Pieta is very just like a slinky, you know? Someone said it before, just one of those things that blow in the wind. He's just very weird. The Cachoeira style, he's doing like backflips. None of that stuff is going to work in this fight, and it's more opt to get him knocked out. He will probably play a safer game from Extreme Couture. He is well coached at that gym. In his last fight, he showed that he can follow game plan too. So versus a high level where he's probably going to go for the win, I think he plays it safe, doesn't really try to go for the finish, Michelle Pieta, and we don't see him get exposed, knocked out in this fight. He does have 14 losses, and we look at the losses there, 8 of them by a decision. So only 4 times has he been finished, 3 by knockout. And the last time he lost was by knockout to Kyle Dawkins round 1. So maybe an early knockout spot, but with Share a Bullet, he can really do it at any time with how his style is. It's just so different than anyone else. You never know where it's coming from. The spinning attacks, the kicks, and then the leg kicks could add up over time. I think he can take it the footing from Michelle Pieta with those leg kicks. Anthony Hernandez, a guy I respect a lot. Could not find the finish until the middle of round 5 with Michel Pieta. Abus beat Michel by a decision. So based off those performances, which are very recent on a bad run for Pereira, Pieta, I think he loses by a decision. Share a bullet has 4 decision wins, 4-1 to the decision, 5-1 in the UFC, and only has 2 knockout wins in the UFC, 4 decisions. He knocked out Tricoli and Petrosian. So Mikhail Ozachuk needed a decision. Bruno Silva needed that decision. Marc-Andre Barrio needed a decision. His loss came to MVP Michael Venom Page by a decision. Definitely a fight where I can see Pieta holding up. Fluffy's my guy. If he couldn't do it, Cher's not going to do it. The actor, Cher Bullet's into acting and not always taking it serious, but in my opinion, he's taking it more serious than he was when he was shooting those movies. From what I see, Cher Bullet's been grappling, and he actually grappled with Arman Sarukian. So if you don't think that's going to help him in this fight, well, you might want to think again. All the grappling work and performances that Cher Bullet's putting in are going to help him, in my opinion. The takedown defense is going to continue to improve. He's going to be able to keep these fights on the feet where he wants to lead the dance. And the Arman Sarukian grappling match was pretty fun. Cher Bullet wasn't very offensive with it, but it was a draw. He was very defensive, never got taken down too much. When he got taken down, he was able to climb on top of Arman Sarukian. So he's very slick with this takedown defense. And then he went out and fought Edson Barboza. And I think that one was a draw as well. So he's in these grappling matches. He was supposed to fight Jorge Masvidal. It got canceled. So he's not just shooting movies anymore. Seems like he's taking it more serious, which is very fun and interesting. Something to mention, though, Cher Bullet's not a guy that can go to North America with his eye not being able to see. So he only can see out of one eye. Definitely a problem moving forward. Not a guy that I can believe could be a champion. With that being said, and with those problems that he's having with visas and actually fighting in North America, these commissions just won't let it happen. Unless anything changes in the future, I don't think he can be a champion or really fight at top 5. If he gets top 5 fights, top 10 fights, rank fights at all, with that being said, these fights are going to have to be outside of North America, I do believe. So let's keep that in the back of our head. Something to note here. Definitely a winnable fight, though, in this one. Baku, Azerbaijan. Main event, repping Kazakhstan. That's where he's born, but he reps Azerbaijan. So let's not forget that. The Kazakhstan flag is there. He got to rep it. That's where he was born. But Rafael Fiziev reps Azerbaijan, and he's a very tough fighter to fight. He's fought Gaethje twice, and one of those was a majority decision. So if we're going to sit here and say Manuel Torres, a big round 1 finisher, it's going to be Fiziev, man. This is a guy that went to a majority decision with Justin Gaethje. Enough said. All right, and we go look at the Tapology picks. This is my prediction alone, right? Oh, so what? He fought Gaethje twice. Man, he took him to a majority decision. All right, listen up. Listen up. This is the sauce that I don't have to give out. Could be wrong. I guess it's changed. Manuel Torres did have 70-75% of picks. At one point, I seen 75% of people picking Manuel Torres, but now it's 60%. Still, 75%, 60% on Manuel Torres. Look at the odds. Fiziev's the slight favorite. So that on top of him having the experience with Gaethje, I think Fiziev is able to win this fight. He has the gas tank, and that's going to be very important in a 5-round fight, main event. He has the gas tank. Later, round 2, 3, I think we're going to start to see Fiziev take over if he struggles early. Early in this fight, he could get hit. He could get knocked down. I don't think he'll quit and get knocked out, though. Rufi is just at another level. Mauricio just had a performance over Michael Chandler. The White House, big event. That's a guy they're pushing. Manuel Torres, he's a UFC Noche guy. This isn't really the spot for him in Baku to go out here and upset, I don't believe. Don't get me mistaken here. I'm not the best at calling these main events this year. Looking at the track record, a lot of my main event picks are wrong. Predictions are wrong. The last prediction was Horiguchi, and he looked very good until he didn't. So maybe that's the situation with Fiziev, because Torres has that finish and upside. He's a huge finisher, and I don't believe he's ever went the distance. Every time he's lost was a decision, and it might have been all round one. So let's pull up Manuel Torres here. Looking at him, 17-3. All of his fights went the distance but one. His one fight that went the distance, he won a split decision. Obviously a 3-round fight in that one, so that's going to be the difference maker. But every other fight, the 3 losses, submitted twice round one, knocked out once round one, 7 submissions round one, 9 knockouts round one. So that's definitely where this fight's set up for Rafael Fiziev at home. The later the fight goes, he is going to be there the whole night. Grant Dawson got knocked out round one, but Grant Dawson was also knocked out to Bobby Green round one, where Fiziev has fought Justin Gaethje to a majority decision, and that can't be forgotten. Ignacio Bahamondes knocked out Manuel Torres round one. He definitely struggled with the length and reach of Ignacio Bahamondes. Manuel Torres did. In this fight, it's more of the gas tank that's going to get tested. It's more of the experience that's going to play a factor in this one. And Fiziev, with his boxing and maybe the ability to keep it on the feet too, I don't think he's going to want to look to go on the ground with how Torres is almost 50-50 by submission and knockout. He's best to keep this boxing, make it dirty, get in the pocket, gas out Manuel Torres, who has all wins and losses in round one, round 2, and 3, 4, 5, very big unknowns. Fiziev has went round 4, 5 competitive with Gaethje twice, not once, but twice. 60% on Manuel Torres, and the line is the complete opposite. So that's another indicator. You got to agree with the bookies rather than the public. 60% of public on Torres at plus 100. I will happily take the other side. I'm not saying it's a lock, but it's a damn good pick, and I wish it could be like an underdog situation. I wish I could have got Rafael Fiziev at plus 120, plus 110. Could have made him the dog of the week, but definitely a good favorite. I mean, I feel like he could be a lock of the week with how confident I am and how much I'm talking him up compared to other fights that I actually have locked in. But I'll be safe. My main event picks haven't been great, so I'll just be aware of that. Main event picks have been wrong. Tough year on the main events, but this is a spot where I think everything can turn around and the rest of the year can be great. It all starts somewheres, and I think it happens in Baku. This is a spot where Rafael Fiziev is not going to want to lose. All right, this is where the heart comes into play. Who wants it more? In Baku, Azerbaijan, Rafael Fiziev is going to want it more, and he's going to win it for Fight Fiends and Forecasters. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I don't think I got to talk about this one too much longer. If he doesn't show up in Azerbaijan for his people, that's on him. That's on him, bro. Right? If he doesn't take the experience with Justin Gaethje, those 2 fights, the majority decision, and come into this fight and put it on Manuel Torres, who's barely been outside of round 1, literally outside of round 1 once, split decision win, 3-rounder. If he does not win, that's on him. That's on him. I gave you my predictions, and I will give you my props Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully everyone's tuning in, staying forecasted. All platinum forecasters that are monthly members in Patreon, linked into Discord, get entered to win $50 moving forward. So last week, we had a big winner, John Mag. The week before was unclaimed. So if it doesn't get claimed within the week, I keep the money. We keep moving on. And then I set up a fun giveaway in Discord for everyone. I decided to do a soccer one. The World Cup's going on. Shout out to Big OT with that soccer win last night. That was a huge win, my friend. Now I'm going to pull up Discord now, end of the show, and see what's going on in there. I know some Harry Kane actions going on, some Ronaldo action, 2 goal scorer options, England, Portugal, great options today. And Prelim Tim has home run bets if you're into MLB, baseball. So with soccer, it's pretty active here today. Took a couple Hail Mary bets. Soccer is on. I think we're 40 minutes in here now. Stuff could be happening. Maybe some players out, lineups changed from what I'm seeing in Discord. So you definitely want to get into this community. We got Polly Walnuts very active in here right now. Prelim Tim. And then we got SCA. Caesar, he was the runner-up. Once he gets his PayPal figured out, we will set him up. He was the runner-up in that giveaway. So all what they had to do was give me the correct amount of goals for France. That was the giveaway last night. We had a tiebreaker. They had to give me a goal scorer from Algeria. And that's when Big OT Lover picked the correct goal scorer. There was only 2 goals, so number 9 scored. Number 7 was the other option. He was unable to score, but still a great pick. 2 great picks, 1 winner. So that was fun. Both will get money. Both are in Discord. So if you want access to these contests, Discord is in the link in the description below. Discord is free to join, and Prelim Tim is very active in there. Has his UFC picks, Nick's licks, talks about baseball a lot. Discord's a community you want to join for free. And then the paid access enters you to win a $50 giveaway every Friday on the Prop Fiend Show, where I bring on 3 forecasters, 3 cappers that I respect. We give out 3 props each and try to get paid. Last week, very good. AJ, 3 for 3. Fight Fiend, 3 for 4. Curry Ninja, 2 for 3. Prelim Tim smacks again with a prelim prop. Man, dear, we are hunting down these bookies. And I love it. We're in Baku where the bags are about to be made. So stay forecasted. We're back in 2 to 3 hours. For you, maybe it's already out there. So stay forecasted. Watch the live streams on the channel. And let's get this money. Fight Fiends out. We'll see you on the live streams. You better be in those live chat comments, active with the chat. We do an hour-long show with the quick picks Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time today. We do an hour and a half show Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then Saturday, we're live for almost 7 hours for the whole event, every event from now on for the watch party fight companion. So during the fights, the fight companion is 7 hours long if it's a full event. Sometimes we do 3 hours main card. So stay forecasted. Live streams are rolling. Like, subscribe. Stay forecasted. Stay forecasted. Come on, please, please. Stay forecasted.